What's up, guys? This is Dan from Meraki. Today we're making a very special recipe, Spanakopita. Even if you're unfamiliar with Greek food, you've probably tried this one out. Guys, this is a fantastic recipe. I really hope you enjoy it. We will need 2 pounds of spinach, sea salt, olive oil, black pepper, 4 scallions, 400 grams of feta cheese, 2 eggs, a small handful of dill, some oregano, a bunch of Italian parsley, and a roll of phyllo sheets. The first thing we're going to do is grab our scallions, we're going to cut off the ends, and just cut them thinly. As you can see, my cutting board's going crazy as I'm cutting these. We can wet a paper towel and put it under the cutting board to stop it from moving, which I'm going to do before I cut the next veg. Put it into a bowl. Next, we're going to take our Italian parsley, we're going to cut off the thick stems and save them for another recipe. We're going to roll it into a cigar and just roughly chop. Put it into a separate bowl. Next, we take our dill. We're going to cut off the thick stems, and just like our parsley, we're going to roll it into a little cigar and roughly chop. And then we're going to put it into the parsley bowl. Here, we're going to put in our oregano. Now, if you can find fresh oregano, I suggest you use that. I could not today, so I just used dry, but this stuff is pretty great. Crush into our bowl. Next, we take our feta cheese. Now, I suggest getting sheep's milk feta cheese. You don't want any cow milk in that stuff. That stuff's fake. What is this, amateur hour? Get the real stuff. Get the Greek stuff. We're going to just slice it up and cube it and just crush it with our hands. No problem. And this is going into our herb bowl as well. Time to separate our eggs. What we're going to do is we're just going to drop the egg into our palm and let the whites run through our fingers. This is a very simple way to do it, and you won't get very much waste. Next, we're just going to season everything with salt and pepper. Now, we're going to get a fork and we're going to mix it up. We can actually even crush up some of the bigger chunks of feta that didn't break well in our hands. And this is, trust me, already smelling fantastic. Whoever you serve this to is going to love you. Just to let you know, this is like love potion. So, be careful with it. Use with great responsibility. Now for our spinach. We're going to break off all the hard ends, we're going to wash the leaves, and get them ready for the frying pan. Very easy, but slightly repetitive. First thing we're going to do is we're going to get a large frying pan, add a little bit of olive oil, heat it up, and then put in our green onions. Once our green onions are getting a little soft, maybe like 1 minute or so, we're going to add our spinach and we're just going to wilt it now. Don't try to wilt all the spinach at once or it's just going to spill everywhere. And then your yet's going to kill you. Just going to beat you to death with a slipper. Is that the way you want to die? By a slipper? Of course not. Next thing we're going to do is pull out a strainer and put it over our sink. Now we're going to press out all the water from our spinach green onion mix. If we don't do this, our phyllo sheets are going to be all soft and squishy and nasty, and no one's going to like you for serving these to them. So we're going to press it against the end of the strainer, or we can just screw the spoon and we're going to pick it up with our hands and squish it out. It's so much quicker this way, and it's just much better. And you get a cool little ball afterward. There you go, perfect. Someone complains, throw it at their head. Now we take our ball of spinach and we're just going to flatten it and roughly chop. Once roughly chopped, we're going to get a nice big bowl and we're going to put our spinach in and start combining our filling. Next, we're going to take our egg and herb mix and we're going to put that with the spinach. And we can mix with a spoon if we like, but just like with the spinach, squeezing out the liquid, it's just much easier with your hands. Get in there and get her done. Once evenly mixed, you'll be able to pick up a little piece and give it a nice squeeze together and it should keep a rough form. There you go. Perfect, right? That's our filling. Gorgeous. This is also the perfect time to preheat our oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. So we're going to take our phyllo sheets that have been out of the freezer for some time now. Make sure they are thawed before you cut them or they're going to shatter. we're going to cut them into, I'd say, about 6 even strips. We want to make these into little triangles. Now, if you don't want to make them into triangles and instead make them into a big pie, you can. Just leave the sheets whole. I would layer 4 deep on the bottom, put your spinach mix, and then 4 on top, and fold them in. But we're going to make little triangles now, so here we go. Next, we're going to cover the phyllo sheets with a little towel to stop them from drying out. Now here's where the fun begins. We're going to take 2 strips of phyllo, place them beside each other. One, we are going to lightly brush with olive oil. The second one is going to be placed over top. This little layer of olive oil is going to make the top layer crunchy, crispy, and just a dream to bite into. Next, we take some of our filling and we are going to start folding. I'm going to fold into triangles here, so very simply just follow along. Now try not to fill these too much or they're going to pop in the oven. You may have a few casualties at first, but you'll get the hang of it and how much to put in. Next, that little flap that's hanging over, we're just going to brush with a little bit of olive oil and done. Beautiful triangles. Next, we are going to put them into our oven for about 15 minutes. And then, what the hell? Those pink skunk socks? Jeez, I think they are. And there you have it, our beautiful, tasty, crunchy Spanakopita. Guys, enjoy and share with the ones you love.